Hey there everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at Popocomi 2. I've already looked at Popocomi 1. This is an awesome little anthology put out by Popocomi Books and Gallery. This is a small press company in Japan, and what this anthology is committed to is a really cool thing, similar to what Glacier Bay is doing with Glaiolia, is they're providing a venue within which small press or indie manga artists can get their work shown. So I think that's really awesome. We're only getting access to the biggest sellers, and that means that there's a whole underground of probably people who are pushing comics forward more than anyone in the mainstream, and we just don't normally have access to it. So I think these projects are some of the coolest and most worthy projects, worldwide exposure for these type of artists. So this first one here is by Meiko Daki, who seems to be one of the main people behind this magazine or this anthology. She's also done I'm assuming a she. I guess I shouldn't assume that, but Meiko Daki has also done the covers, and I really like the covers. Really love the way that you probably can't see them on the camera too well. Let me see if I can get it there. But the way the eyes are colored, there's like a lot of different colors going on in the eyes that are really beautiful. So I would love to see something by Meiko Daki that's in color, because in black and white the work is quite stunning as well. A really great cartoonist. And this one is explicitly about anthology, so everyone in this little story is just reading an anthology comic and really loving it. And I like that that's opening this anthology with another look at anthologies and just a celebration of the anthology. I know anthologies have historically never sold well, but man, do they serve an amazing function, and do I love grabbing them. So that's the first story. Oh, I skipped a sticky note on an actually quite good story. So here's a piece by an artist named Mississippi 2029. This is a sequel to something that was also in volume 1. Really like the art on these as well. I've gone and sought a lot of these artists out on Instagram already, and hopefully we'll be seeing larger projects from them. So those first two artists are definitely people I'm following up on. These are just some like little comic strips. These ones didn't impact me as much. Here's Seaside Town by Ekumi Nakata. A really lovely little, really broken line type of art. Quite enjoy that as well. And these are all pretty quiet little stories. All the stories are good. I don't think any of the stories are like the best story I've ever read, but they're short. They're very short pages. They're good anthology stories. Really like this artist, Shuchika Nishimura. This first page immediately reminded me a bit of Banu Pratap's art, just the way that the strange abstractions of the figures and the positive negative, the simple clean line with the positive negative on the blacks remind me a lot of what Banu's doing. So really enjoyed that. This is an artist I look forward to seeing more from. Munch and Me, Telepathy. This is just a funny little dog story. I don't see the artist's name on this one. Mary MJ. Oh, that's the dog is farting out the artist's name. Okay. Here's Light by Inori Kataro. Another simple kind of clean line calligraphic little comic. Something that I'm enjoying more and more. Mom's World by Henny Kim, translated by Elizabeth Rune. This one's a really nice pencil art. This is the kind of stuff that feels, you can still see the manga influence in it kind of, but it feels much more like American or Western underground cartooning, and I like that. It's interesting to see the ones that really still feel influenced by manga and which ones feel like they're really cutting away from the mainstream. And this one also had a really interesting formal trick where the daughter's asking the mother, what kind of house do you want to live in? So you get that word balloon going here, and of course we're reading right to left, so you get this tricky crossover here, and then the mom is both thinking about her ideal house and saying, I don't know, I want to look at the sea in the morning, but then mentally she's acting like it's not a very clear vision, and then mentally it's super clear. And I really like that as a formal trick. That's something else I don't feel like I see a lot of this kind of formal trickery in manga, and again, that's probably just because it's most of what we're getting translated is mainstream stuff. It's I don't know, you have moments at Marvel and DC where you'll get books that have tricks like this, but not a lot. And so it makes sense that my impression of Japanese comics would be that they're just not as interested in this kind of thing. So that's really cool to see. Absolutely love the art on this. Eating an Apple by Yoon-hee Lee. And you can just see some of the amazing compositions here out the gate with this artist. Sakaya Ishiyama, The Moon in 2020. Another one of these like broken line type of things. This is what I'm talking about, where this feels a little more personal in particular, but it still feels very, very well within what you would see in manga. To me, it feels influenced by manga, but taking a slight deviation on it. Whereas this is a piece from Today's Desserts, which I've reviewed separately. I'm going to blank on the artist's name. This feels very, very different to me because of all the watercolor. The character design still feels Japanese. But anyways, I've done a own separate review on this book, so don't need to go into that one. Here's The Midnight Door by Emgena, another cartoony one. And then finally you have The Solitude Hotel by Akiko Miyakoshi, and this looks like it was done with ink wash or pencil. I'm not sure. It seems kind of blurry as well. I don't know if the blur, it's like it was a charcoal piece and so it got smudged to get the blur. It kind of looks like it was photographed rather than put on a scanner, maybe because of the charcoal. I'm not sure, but there seems to be some kind of fuzziness in the image. But other than that, this reminds me a lot of like Sean Tan's The Arrival or Daishumu's Leaf, with these like really rich fantasy textural worlds. So this is definitely an artist that I would love to see some kind of long form project from, and I'd love to see how this artist deals in color. I also, like I said, I suspect that the reproduction could be a little bit better on this artist, but it may be that they're working digitally, and so that's where some of the smoothness comes from. I'm not quite sure. Like this kind of looks like a digital effect to me. So anyways, Popocomi by Popocomi is an awesome little anthology. I've got 2 of them and have now reviewed both of them. I'll keep an eye out, and hopefully they will be producing more of these, because I'm between this and Glaolia, I'm just falling in love with a whole bunch of these like underground mangaka, and I hope that there's a whole bunch more of this to come. I'm assuming there's like infinite treasure troves over there, so it's good that people are starting to dig into those. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, the best ways that you can support us are through our Patreon. There's a few different tiers of participation and exclusive content that go on over there, and we try and use the money that we get from there to buy the books that we review, so the money's going right back into other creators' pockets. And then the best thing that you can do to support Living the Line is support what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll take a look at a couple of the projects that you can purchase from Sean now. Solid Yellow, Path of the Shades by Clarence Doss is a really cool ongoing project that Living the Line will be producing. Clarence is a PhD student from Fiji who's studying the myths of Fiji for his doctoral thesis. And part of that study project is that he's producing these comics. They're kind of like Hellboy, where there's these little short stories that capture all of these different mythologies. But then he's using that to wrap the project into his doctoral thesis and then provide educational material where people can come to these comics. You know, they don't have to read his PhD thesis. They can come to the comics and get a more consumable version of the mythology of Fiji. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.